So this is the review for chapter 4.
On Jesus?
Yeah. Okay. So first thing we're going to do is I'm going to show you guys how to do this. Now, let's take a look at this information. On number 1, what's the amplitude?
1.
1. Okay, right? Now, is there any phase shift?
No.
Okay, so now, where does sine always start?
0.
Okay, so now we know 3 things. There's no phase shift, the amplitude is 1, and sine always starts at 0.
Mm-hmm.
So, can this one be correct?
No.
Now, let's take a look. Can this one be correct?
No.
Why?
Because the amplitude is more than 1.
Thank you.
It's 1.5.
It's more than 1, right?
Yeah.
Get rid of that one. On C, is that one going to be the answer?
No.
Why?
Amplitude is 4.
What about D?
There's the only answer left.
It's the only answer left. There we
All
go.
you gotta know.
But why is it the only answer left?
Because we eliminated everything else.
Elimination.
There you go.
I was trying to get to the amplitude of 1.
I was stressing over that.
Yeah, but
You were stressing over it?
All right. Now, let's take a look here. What's the amplitude?
2.
Okay. Is there a phase shift?
No.
Is there a V shift?
No.
Okay. Where does cosine start?
1.
It should start at 1, but with the amplitude of 2, it should start at 2, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so now, that's some important information. So now, question. Can it be A?
No.
Can you tell me why is it not A?
it's around the negative 2 thing.
Nope.
Moved down 1.
It's moved down, so this one has a
Negative.
vertical shift. Does our formula have or our function have a vertical?
No.
Nope, so that's a no. Okay, now this one, a maybe. Let's look at C. Okay, why can it be C?
Because
No.
amplitude is 1.
Amplitude's 1.
Amplitude's 1 here, right?
Yeah.
So this one can't be my answer, so I get rid of that. So far it's looking like it might be B. What's wrong with D?
Vertical shift.
It's got a vertical shift, right? So it can't be that one, so I get rid of that. So the answer is going to be here, right?
Yeah.
Okay, it has to be. Now, I'm going to show you guys another trick to go along with this because it's going to help in the next problem. So we're going to take our graph. So we're going to graph it into the calculator. So before you guys do anything, press Document B.
Document.
Once you get in the scratch pad, say Document B. It clears the scratch pad. Document and the letter B. It'll clear my scratch pad.
Wait, which one? Both?
It clears all the scratch pad.
Alright.
So,
Go to scratch pad.
scratch pad right here. I'm in the function.
Then press document.
So I have 2.
Press B.
Yeah, press Document B. Cosine
There you go.
X.
Negative 2, right? And then you put.
Now, this is going to be the basis of almost everything on this test. It's multiple choice. Now, let's take a look. Because we want our graph to look like this right here, what's going to be my X minimum?
Negative pi.
Negative 2 pi. Look at my graphs. All of them are at negative 2 pi, right?
Yeah.
So watch this. So I'm going to change my window. Menu. Window is 4. Window settings.
1.
My X minimum is negative 2 pi. What's my X max? 2 pi. What's the Y minimum?
Negative.
Look at the graphs.
Negative 4.
Negative 4, right? If you're looking at the graph, so negative 4.
Positive 4. Cut.
And what do we have?
Cut.
Positive 4.
Yes.
Hit enter. So now, if I look at my graph, okay, look at all nice and pretty here. Doesn't it match that?
Yeah.
It matches, doesn't it?
It's a miracle.
Right?
Yeah.
That's all I needed. Okay, so we know the answer here was B. Now, for this one right here, now, tangent is a special one, okay? Tangent is a special one. So we're going to have to use our calculator for this one to make it a whole lot easier. So everything I just taught you, we're going to do that one again. So I want you guys doing it right now while I do it, okay? So you don't have to document B again. You can just hit tab and clear up our other one. So I have 1/2 tan 3x now that I graphed it, what I say the next thing to do? Change the window. What's my windows? Look at all my graphs. Look at all my answers.
Pi. Negative pi.
It should be negative pi to pi. So we're changing our window for that.
And then -3.
Okay, and it should go down to -3 is my y min. And my y max is +3.
Hey.
All right, so what's the first one I can get rid of? Which is the most obvious that I can get rid of?
A and D.
A. Why A? Wrong direction, right?
Yes, sir.
There we go. Now, why D?
This is too wide spread out.
Two spread out, right? Okay. So now these two are close to each other, aren't they? They're really close. So now let's take a look at what I have here. So in my graph on the negative side, so the left side of the graph, I have 1, 2, 3 lines, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Over here I have 1, 2. Over here I have 1, 2, 3 lines, just in the negative, right? So we can tell the increments because I have 3 lines going there and only 2 lines going here. So therefore, that one's gone. B is my answer.
Good job.
Now, what do you guys think about this test now?
Easy.
Yeah.
No.
All right, so let's take a look at 4.
That's why I didn't.
That's why I didn't do it music.
Okay, so 4. The reason why that you actually know this is because I made you do all that work so you know all the parts of the function. All right, so now right here, so given this or this right here, so this is the type of problem we're going to have. These have no phase shifts. Okay, it's either sine or cosine with no phase shifts, but they do have an amplitude. So for this one right here, now a couple things that we know. If there's no phase shift, this one, is it starting at 0? No. So can this one be sine?
No.
It's not going to be sine because it's not starting at 0. This has no phase shift. It has no phase shift, so that means that it has to start at 0 if it's sine, and cosine would start at the amplitude. So let's get rid of the sine. That one's gone. Now, what is the amplitude I have here?
2.
Why is it -2? It starts and then down, right?
B is out.
So I know I'm going to have -2 cosine of something. So what can I get rid of? Right? So I'm going to do this. So this is going to be my F1 and this is going to be my F2.
F2 is correct.
Okay, let's take a look. I'm going to go up. So I'm going to enter both of these in my calculator. So I have -2 cosine 1/3 x. And my other one, my F2 is going to be what? Negative 2 cosine 3x. Negative 2 cosine 3x. Why am I not jumping to an answer yet?
Because they could both be wrong.
Okay, so now what do I have to do? Thank you. I heard it. Change the window. What is my x min? 0, right? Starting at 0, right? On the axis. So it's starting at 0, so let's go there. So 0, and how far does it go? 2 pi. What's my y min? What's the y min? Negative 5. What's the y max?
6.
There we go. So now, which one do you think it is? Oh, I'm sorry. Here, let me move it over. Is that better? Okay, are you calculating this as we're talking right now? Okay. So, is it going to be the blue one or the red one? The red one. So that's going to be the negative 2 cosine 3x. Okay, so that means I get rid of that one. So the answer is D.
Do we have to do like that work? Because right there she said where b is greater than 0, so 1 over 3 is 0.66, and then 3 is bigger than 1. Can I just go off that?
No.
No?
No.
Alright, so I just,
Yeah. No, you could, because the B is referring to the number that changes the period. So you're not going to have any negatives in there. I get it. I'm boring. That doesn't need to be on the video. Okay. Now for this one right here. Okay, pay close attention right now. So for this one right here, find the amplitude. What's my amplitude going to be? Negative 5. But the way I taught you guys, we would say it would be negative 5, right? But now, for this one, the amplitude is actually 5 because it goes up 5 and down 5. But the negative tells me the direction that would go. So it starts negative or it goes positive, whichever it starts at. So the amplitude for this would be 5. Okay? The negative just tells me the direction of that. So my answer has to be D.
okay. It doesn't matter the sign.
No.
Is amplitude always going to be positive?
Yes.
Okay.
But I would always get it a negative or a positive from you when I had you guys write it down because that's actually part of the direction. Okay. All right, so now next one. Vertical translation. So vertical translation refers to the, say, V shift.
V shift.
So what is my V shift here?
Negative 3.
Negative 3.
Negative 3, so that is
Down 3.
down 3, so that's A.
So that's the vertical.
Yeah.
Find the period. So now for this one right here,
My head should
for cosine and sine, what does the period normally start out at?
2 pi.
So I write 2 pi equals what?
3x plus.
Right?
Yeah.
No, just the 3x.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so now what do I do?
3 over 1. Or,
Divide by 3.
So
yeah.
2 pi over 3 is my period, right?
Dad.
Triggered, right? Number 8. Amplitude. What's the amplitude?
5.
Just need the white.
2 pi over 3.
Period. So, hey, look, it's almost like our same one. I know, so it's going to be 2 pi equals 3x divided by 3.
Hey.
Damn, that's
Dada.
Dad.
Triggered. All right. Now, listen up. Okay. I'm going to show you guys first what we have here. Now, if you notice, we have this part right here, which does not have a parentheses. Does not have parentheses. This, it's inside the parentheses. So if it's inside the parentheses, it's a phase shift, right? If it's outside the parentheses, it's a vertical shift. Okay, so now, let's take a look at this. Does this one have a vertical shift?
No.
It doesn't have a vertical shift, does it? There's no vertical shift there. So I could automatically get rid of this one. Now, I'm going to show you guys how to do this one. I'm going to do it a lot easier than I did with my other classes. So, last time I tried doing this, I did a lot more math for this. But, let's make it easier. Let's call this one F1, F2, and
F3.
F3. Now, what is my windows?
Huh?
What is my window?
Negative pi over 2.
Negative pi over 2 to,
2 pi.
and my y's?
Negative 2 over 2.
There we go. So let's do that. So I labeled my answers so I could actually know which one I'm talking about. So it's going to be sine of x minus pi over 3, close parentheses. Next one. Right here, it's going to be cosine of x minus pi over 6 and my F3 is going to be sine of x minus pi over 6. Okay, I have that in my graph. Now I have to go through and change my window. So it's going to be negative pi over 2. So negative pi divided by 2. 2 pi. Y min is negative 2. Y max is positive 2. All right, so now, right off the bat, which one can I get rid of?
F2.
F2, right? The red one. So it's nice that they're all labeled, aren't they? Okay, so I can get rid of F2. So I'm going to cross out that one. Now watch this. So I'm going to click on this one. And I'm going to hit delete.
Oh,
Okay. Now, the next thing we need to know is I need to be able to do some math for this. I need to do some math. So, I'm going to do some math for one of them. And if it doesn't fit this, then it's going to be the other answer. So, we're going to do the argument for this. Oh, crap. Ah, my video fell.
Are you gonna tape it?
I'm telling you, I need to make that YouTube bucks just so I could, you know. I know. I have this thing, but it blows up my computer if I try and use it. So I know selfie stick would be better. Anyway, all right. So we're gonna do an argument for this. Listen up, please. I'm gonna do an argument for this one right here. So where does sine always start at? Less than equal to x minus pi over 3. Less than equal to 2 pi. Right? Add pi over 3. So it's going to be pi over 3 less than equal to x less than equal to 7 pi over 3. Did I lose you here? Isn't this going to be 6 pi over 3? 6 divided by 3 is 2, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I had common denominator there for that. All right, so the start is supposed to be pi over 3. Okay, now where does sine supposed to start at?
0.
0, right? Okay, so now, how do I check that? Right here, do my vars, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm doing vars for the F1 is going to be pi over 3. Can't see, okay. Sorry. Trying to keep it on the video. There we go. We have 0. Okay. Now, because I don't have all my information on here, I have to like fill in some stuff. Okay. What is halfway in between 0 and pi over 2? Right? And what's halfway in between pi over 2 and pi? 3 pi over 2. 4. You're right. 4. My bad. I know. Seriously. Okay. All right. So now let's take a look. For this function, okay, for this function, I have to find somewhere less than this. Now, where is pi over 3 supposed to be on here? If I'm thinking about my unit circle, is pi over 3 after or before pi over 4? It's after, right? It's after pi over 4. Okay, so I could actually show you that. So pi divided by 4 is that, and pi over 3 is that. So therefore it's after it, right? So it should be somewhere after. So let's call this one right here pi over 3. Now, this question right here is solved. It's done.
The answer C.
Okay, why is it C?
Because pi over 3 is not 0 on the graph.
Okay, pi over 3 is not 0. So this is pi over 3 here, right? I picked it out on my graph, and it's not 0, is it? It's up here, isn't it?
Yep.
So pi over 3 is here. So this one, it's supposed to be 0, and this one, so if I were to do my vars for this one, it's supposed to be 0.5. This looks like it could be 0.5, right? Yes? Okay, so that's what I had to do. So this is going to be 0.5. This one matches, this one does not. Because right here, this one's not 0. This is probably the hardest question on this test. All we had to do is go through and do some math for this. All right, let's take a look at 11. Okay, 11. Okay, graph. 1 period. Amplitude. Period. It's 2 pi equals. Okay, what do we have to do with this? I have to distribute it. I have to distribute it, right? So on the inside, it's going to be 2x minus 2 pi, right? So for my period, I need to distribute that 2 inside there.
So why would you distribute it?
Why would I take it out? To find the phase shift. This one gives me my phase shift. This one gives me my period. So each one gives different answers. So right here, my period would go with 2 pi equals 2x. What would I do now?
Divide by 2.
Divide by 2. So it's going to be pi. So my period is pi. My period is pi. So now, what do I find after that? What's my phase shift? Is it positive or negative? Positive pi. Because look, right here, this is the factored form, and it's always the opposite sign.
Is that B?
Huh? Right here.
Is that BS? Or DS?
P.
PS. That's PS. Phase shift. Phase shift. Okay. So now, is there a vertical shift? No vertical shift.
No.
Okay. So now we have that. So now what goes next? Argument. So cosine starts at 0. And I put in this one right here. 2x minus 2 pi. Ah, crap. Less than equal to 2 pi. What's the first thing I do? Add 2 pi. So 2 pi less than equal to 2x 4 pi. What do I do now? So now I get, on this side I get pi less than equal to x less than equal to 2 pi. Yes? Okay, so now we have, this is my, what do I call this one?
Star.
This is my,
You find the interval.
okay, I find the interval next. My interval is going to be my period divided by 4.
Pi over 4.
Pi over 4. It's going to be pi over 4 here. So now let's go ahead. So to do my steps, it's going to be 1 times pi over 4 plus what?
Pi.
Pi, my start. Which is going to give me 5 pi over 4. Right? It's 5 pi over 4. 2 times pi over 4 plus pi is equal to it's going to give me 6 pi over 4, which reduces to 3 pi over 2. 3 times pi over 4 plus pi is equal to 7 pi over 4. And 4 times pi over 4 plus pi gives me 2 pi. So now, does that match my end?
Yes.
It matches my end. Okay, so now for my graph, isn't all this way to the right of the axes?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's important. So that's way to the right of the axes. So if I draw my axes right here, it'd be somewhere over here. So I'm going to start this one at my start, which is going to be, let's call this one pi. My next one's going to be my first step, 5 pi over 4, 3 pi over 2, 7 pi over 4, and 2 pi. Now, what goes next here? Yes?
We're going to have somewhere to graph that.
Yeah, I'm going to give you guys graph paper for this. Okay, so you're going to have a lot of work to show for this one, okay? All right, so now right here, for this one right here, let's go ahead. So what do I do with this information now? Put it in. Put it in a calculator, right? Okay, then we have to do my vars. So now I'm going to go document B, because I want to clear out all that I already have in there. So watch. So let's go back to this. I have my function, which is going to be, I had it right here. So it's going to be negative 1 over 4 cosine of, now don't do it like this. You have to enter this, otherwise your calculator is going to give you a straight line. So it's going to be 2x minus 2 pi Okay, there we go. So now I leave that alone. Go back and do my vars. So my first number is going to be pi. It's going to be negative 0.25. Okay, so it's negative 1/4, right? So if I have my increments, okay, make sure you label your increments, especially on a problem like this. So I'm just going to go through and label it negative 1/4, and this one's going to be positive 1/4. Because I got to make up my own increments for this anyway. All right, so we have these. So negative, so it starts down. So it'd be right here. Now, do the same thing for each one. So it's 5 pi over 4. And what's that going to be? What did I tell you guys happens when I have e to the negative number?
Almost
Very small.
It's really, really small. It's so small that what do we count it as? 0. The negative e to the negative number is going to give me 0. If it's e to the positive number, like a big positive number, what did I say that one is? Not 1, that was undefined, right? That was undefined. Well, we get a positive number on the calculator for that. Okay, so this one's going to give me 0. Okay, so now I know the pattern for this, don't I?
Yeah.
So the next one's going to be here, then it goes here, and then it goes back down to here. So my sine graph looks like, or my cosine graph, what do we have, sine or cosine? Cosine graph, right? There we go. That's all you have to do for this because it's only graphing over one period.
Is that it?
That's it.
So it's A.
Oh, that's too hard.
I know you say it's too hard, but the problem is, look, we just had to graph. This is its own problem, to graph it. Multiple choice.
Yay.
Now, okay, so for this one right here, I'm just going to plug those in, right? I'm going to plug this in and see which one matches. So what is my windows I'm going to use?
2 pi.
0 to 2 pi, or 0 to pi, right? Okay, this is going to be the last problem for this one because I'm running out of time.
There's already time.
No, we're not. We got 2 minutes. I'm trying to finish.
That makes sense.
Okay, so 2 plus, the more crap you talk, the more it's not going to get done. 3 sine, parentheses, oh wait.
Look at the time.
I know, everyone's looking at the time instead of trying to do this.
Trying to make it go slower.
I know, right?
Stare at it.
So we just graph this?
Okay, so now, change our window. It's going to be from